Kwame was the kind of man other men envied. At 32 years old, he was a systems architect for one of the biggest banks in Accra. If you saw him in traffic in his clean black SUV, driving through Airport City, you would think that man has made it. And you would be right. Kwame was disciplined. He woke up at 4 a.m. every single day. He hit the gym before the sun came up. He was building a 4-bedroom house in Oyarifa, paying for every block with his own sweat. He had a plan for the next 10 years of his life. But Kwame had a weakness, a fatal flaw that many good men suffer from. He was lonely at the top, and deep down, he didn't want a partner who was his equal. He wanted a project. He wanted to be a savior. He wanted a woman he could fix because he believed that if he saved her, she would owe him her loyalty forever. He didn't know it yet, but that belief was the key that would unlock his destruction.
It all started on a rainy Friday night in November. Kwame had just finished a brutal week at the bank. He decided to stop at a quiet lounge in cantonments for a drink. He didn't want noise. He didn't want to be seen. He just wanted to exhale. That was when he saw her, Anita. She wasn't the loudest girl in the club. She didn't have the longest weave or the most expensive dress. She was sitting alone at the bar, nursing a glass of white wine. She looked delicate. She looked like a bird with a broken wing. She was staring out the window at the rain, and there was a sadness in her eyes that pulled Kwame in like a magnet. Most men look for beauty. Kwame looked for vulnerability, and Anita was broadcasting it on a frequency only he could hear.
He approached her. He didn't use a cheesy pickup line. He simply asked, "Is the rain keeping you here, or are you hiding from something?" She turned to him. Her eyes were big, innocent, slightly watery. She didn't smile immediately. She looked at him, studied his face, and then whispered, "I'm just tired of this city. Everyone is so loud. Everyone is wearing a mask. I just wanted to find a corner where I could be real for 5 minutes." That was the hook. In 3 sentences, she had separated herself from every other woman in Accra. She signaled that she was different. She signaled that she was a victim of a cruel world. And Kwame, he puffed his chest out. His instinct kicked in. She needs protection, he thought. She needs me.
They talked for 3 hours. She told him a story that was perfectly crafted to trigger his savior complex. She told him about an ex-boyfriend who was abusive. She told him about her struggles to finish nursing school because her family in the village wouldn't support her. She spoke softly, touching his arm gently every time he made a joke. By the time he walked her to her Uber, Kwame wasn't just attracted to her, he was invested in her. He felt a sense of duty. As the car drove away, he texted her, "You're safe now." He didn't know he had just invited the predator into his home.
The first 3 months were paradise. This is what psychologists call the love bombing phase. Anita gave him the best version of herself to get him addicted to the dopamine. She was perfect. She didn't ask for money, not yet. In fact, on their second date, she insisted on paying for the drinks. She told him,
"I'm not like those girls who chase men for Cetus. I have my own pride."
Kwame was impressed. He thought he had found a unicorn. She infiltrated his routine beautifully. She started cooking for him on weekends. She would leave little notes in his gym bag. "Proud of you, King. Go conquer the world." She prayed with him. She sat with him while he worked on his laptop, just resting her head on his shoulder, silent, peaceful. Kwame's guard, which had been up for years, began to crumble. He stopped going to the gym as much because she wanted to cuddle in the mornings. He stopped hanging out with his boys on Friday nights because Anita would say, "They don't understand our connection, Kwame. They're just jealous."
because they are still chasing random girls and you found something real. She framed his isolation as an achievement. She made him feel that cutting off his support system was a sign of his maturity. He was isolating himself, brick by brick, and he didn't even feel the cage closing around him. He was falling in love with a woman who didn't exist. He was falling in love with a mirror that reflected exactly what he wanted to see.
Then the shift began. It didn't happen overnight. It was gradual, like a frog in boiling water. It started with a crisis. 4 months in, she called him at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. She was crying, hysterical. Kwame, I don't know who to call. I'm so ashamed. Kwame, the provider, sat up in his office chair. Baby, calm down. What is it? My landlady, she's throwing my things out. She raised the rent without telling me, and I don't have the extra 3,000 cedis until next month. I'm going to be on the street. Kwame didn't hesitate. 3,000 cedis was nothing to him. It was a small price to pay to stop the tears of the woman he loved. Send me the Momo number, he said. It's done. Don't cry. She thanked him profusely. She called him her angel. She told him he was the only real man she had ever met. The dopamine hit was massive. He felt powerful. But a door had been opened. The transaction had begun. 2 weeks later, baby, my phone screen cracked and I can't study for my exams. Kwame bought her a new iPhone. Not a screen repair. A new phone. 1 month later, my mother is sick in the village. They need money for the hospital. 5,000 cedis sent. Slowly, the relationship stopped being about partnership and started being about problem solving. Kwame's life, which used to be peaceful and orderly, was now a constant fire drill. Every week, Anita had a new tragedy. A lost wallet, a stolen wig, a jealous co-worker. Kwame wasn't focusing on his work anymore. He was making mistakes at the bank. He was tired. He was stressed. But every time he tried to bring it up, every time he tried to say, Anita, we need to be more careful with money, she would flip the script. She would look at him with those big, innocent eyes and say, Kwame, I thought we were a team. You are the only good thing in my life. If you leave me, I have nothing. Are you saying I'm a burden after everything I do for you? Guilt, the most powerful weapon against a good man. She weaponized his own goodness against him. 6 months in, Anita practically lived at his place. But something had changed. The king texts stopped, the cooking stopped. Now there were complaints. Why are you always working? You are boring. You are not as ambitious as you said you were. My friend's fiancé just took her to South Africa. You promised we would go. She began to devalue him. She attacked his insecurities. She made him feel small. She made him feel like he was lucky to have her, even though he was the one paying for everything. Kwame was confused. He was chasing the ghost of the woman he met at the lounge. He thought, if I just try harder, if I just buy her that trip, if I just solve this one last problem, the sweet Anita will come back. He was wrong. The sweet Anita never existed. She was just a costume, and the costume was starting to slip. It all came crashing down on a Tuesday night, the night of the Champions League match. Kwame was at home. Anita was in the shower. Her phone was on the coffee table, charging. Usually, Kwame never touched her phone. He respected her privacy. He trusted her. But that night, the phone buzzed. Once, twice, 3 times. Kwame glanced at it, expecting to see her mom or a friend. But the name on the screen made his blood run cold. It wasn't a name. It was an emoji. A single crown emoji. Curiosity got the better of him. He picked up the phone. He knew her passcode. She had given it to him months ago, back in the love bombing phase, to prove she had nothing to hide. A master stroke of manipulation. She knew he wouldn't use it until now. He typed in the code 1122. The phone unlocked. He opened WhatsApp. His heart was hammering against his ribs. The chat with Crown was active. He scrolled up, and as he read, the world around him started to spin. He saw pictures of Anita in a hotel room he didn't recognize. Pictures taken last week when she told him she was at a church video. He saw messages discussing him, mocking him. Crown, is the boy still giving you trouble about the allowance? Anita, he's annoying. He's so emotional. But don't worry, Daddy. He's useful. He's paying for the nursing exams next week. Once that is done, I'll find a way to start a fight and leave. Good girl. Keep him around for the rent. But I'll see you at the Kempinski on Friday. Wear the red dress.
Kwame felt like he had been punched in the throat. He couldn't breathe. The boy, he is useful. Keep him around for the rent. He wasn't the boyfriend. He wasn't the future husband. He wasn't the savior. He was the placeholder. He was the funding strategy. He was the safe harbor she docked her ship in while she was servicing the luxury yacht of another man. Kwame stood there, the phone shaking in his hand. The shower water turned off in the bathroom. He heard the door handle turn. Anita walked out, wrapped in a towel, steam rising off her skin. She looked beautiful. She looked innocent.
She saw Kwame holding her phone. She didn't scream. She didn't look scared. She stopped. She looked at the phone in his hand. Then she looked him dead in the eye. And for the first time, Kwame saw her real face. The mask was gone. Her eyes were cold, dead, like a shark. She took a step forward, tilted her head, and said 4 words that would haunt him for the rest of his life.
Now you know.
So, now you know. Kwame is standing on the edge of a cliff. The woman he loves is a stranger. The life he built is a lie. But if you think this is the end of this story, you are mistaken. The betrayal is just the beginning. Because when a nice man snaps, the devil himself shivers. What happens when the savior decides to become the villain? Find out in episode 2.